Hello, my name is Hyolin Kim, and as Dr. Lee introduced, I'm working on the user experience of the automobile industry. So I'm from Hyundai Motor Company, so I will introduce the user experience in automobiles considering gender difference. So today, I'd like to talk about what is user experience design and who our users are. And of course, I will talk about the gender differences. We have some pretty good findings from the gender difference, so I will introduce that. And what we've done to deal with the differences. And finally, I will introduce some recent technology efforts for safety. So before we start, does anybody know what this is? You know, yeah. Yeah, it's a German automobile. Yeah, of course, this is the first automobile called Patent Motorwagen. It is invented by Carl Benz in 1886. So the weight of this automobile is 265 kilograms and maximum speed of 16 kilometers per hour. So it is the first automobile, but it is only patented, and it was not working. So, yeah, you know who she is. So, her name is Bertha Benz. He is wife. He is Carl Benz's wife and the business partner. She is the first person to drive an automobile, the patent Motorwagen, over a long distance. So she drove 106 kilometers from Mannheim to Pforzheim in Germany in 1888. So after a long drive, she required 3 things to his husband. So she actually commercialized the first automobile. So what she required are durable brake leather and easy handling and stronger power. So I would say these 3 things are the top 3 features even in these days in automobile industry. So as you can see, like braking, handling, and driving. So this is what user experience design is about. So I would say user experience design is user-centered problem solving through the experience. So we find problems while using the products and fix them in creative ways. And it includes both creating new values and enhancing usability. But to do the user experience design well, the first step is to know who our users are. So let's look at some data here. So this is the data of a population per registered car in 2014. So there are 29 million registered cars and less than 3 persons per registered car in South Korea in 2014. And if you look at the data of USA, then 1.2 persons per registered car. And in Germany, in Japan, and UK, and France, there are 1.7 persons. And in Germany, 1.9. And if you look at the number of licensed drivers per 100 persons, so this shows the South Korea data. But female drivers increased almost 10 times in the last 14 years. So if you look at the 4.9, and in 2014, there are 47.6 persons. On the other hand, male drivers only doubled in the same period. And in the situation of USA, in 1970, 112 million drivers were licensed. There were 1.3 male drivers for every female driver. In 2005, the number of licensed female drivers exceeded the number of licensed male drivers. It's pretty amazing. And there's more. In 2014, according to Frost Sullivan, a consulting firm specialized in market research, they reported that in the USA, female driving license holders have tipped the balance at 51%. So all the data you just saw implies that women have more influence on automobile purchasing decision, and they are the major user groups of the automobiles. So when we do user research and we select the users from the various user groups, depending on who our target customers are. So we conducted a test on 2 different user groups who have the same car. These 2 persons are representing those 2 user groups. So Robin, he is 48 years old, and he is married, and he has family. And Alicia, she is 28 years old, and she is single. And if you look at the data from the user test, then men have relatively low scores of discomfort. So they are more comfortable with using the car. And high scores of coefficient of variation, so which means they tend to have different opinions on satisfaction using the car. On the other hand, if you look at the data from women, they have relatively high scores of discomfort and low scores of coefficient of variation, which means if someone has difficulties, then many others have the same difficulties in the same task. Then why is the results so different among these 2 user groups? So we found out that the causes of the differences are based on body size and muscular strength and cognition and behaviors. So I will explain each. So if you look at the standard body size, this is South Korea, but you can just have an idea about the body sizes. So apparently, women have smaller body size than men. But what's more important is that what's more important in user experience is that men and women have different seating postures. So if you look at this ERP, the SRP, it's a seating reference position and eye reference position. The women are relatively short, so they sit upright and close to the steering wheel. So this is women's seating posture, and this is standard male seating postures. And eye positions are also different. So it is harder for women to look wider, so because men look at something from the further, looking something from here, then they can see the wider space. And women's eye reference position is here, then she has the visible area of this wide. So when we design interior space and layouts, we need to we very carefully design them considering the difference of seating postures. So all the controls must be located in the driver's limit curves, so the users have easy controllability. So if you cannot reach the buttons or switches and controls, then you will get frustrated while driving. So this is the real situation. So we test all the layouts with different user groups, so make sure all the controls are located in their reach zones. And let's move on to the safety issues. So unfortunately, women are more vulnerable in case of collision because of their seating postures and their smaller body sizes. So in 1998, crash tests with female dummies are legalized in the US. So I will show you short video clips for crash test with dummies. This is a side crash test. And another video shows in slow motion. So you can see the dummies. So the scenarios of the test, in the crash test, mimics what could happen if you were hit. So you can see what kind of injuries you could get. So for your safety, we provide with adjustable seat belt and adjustable headrest, so that you are safer situation. So this is the this picture doesn't really have show the seatbelt anchor zone, but if you look at here, then this is the seatbelt anchor zone. So you can just adjust the seatbelt. So the seatbelt is properly fastened to fit your body size. And for headrest adjustment, as you already saw in the video, the neck support is extremely important for your safety in case of collision. So we provide with very sophisticatedly adjustable headrest. So I will show you the video of the headrest.
In case of an accident, it should be adjusted so the middle of the headrest is aligned with the top of the driver's or passenger's eyes. In addition, the headrest should be positioned as close to your head as possible. Every Azera comes with an integrated memory system for the power driver's seat, side mirrors, and steering column. While the power seat controls include a headrest button, it is non-functional on the Azera, and the headrest must be adjusted manually. The headrest adjusts to 4 different positions. To adjust the headrest, pull the headrest forward to the desired position. To move it to the rearmost position, pull it fully forward to the farthest position, then release it. Be sure to adjust the headrest so that it properly supports your head and neck. The headrest should also be adjusted up and down based on the height of the driver.
So, of course, there are many other factors to crash death, but this data shows that after the legalization of the female dummies crash test in 2008, the crash death numbers are decreased after 2008. You can see here for female. And another good examples for enhancing user experience is the voice recognition. As Dr. Shin already presented in the robot, the voice recognition technology is really important in user experience. But if you think about that, your device doesn't recognize your voice command, then you will get really frustrated. So when we made the first voice technology applied in the car, the microphone position was here. So if you look at this picture, then the sound directivity of the male is like this. So the car can really recognize the male voice, but not it's not in the case of the women. So we we tested and conducted long research, and we moved the position of the microphone from here to there, so the car can recognize both male and female voice. And another distinctive difference between men and women is muscular strength. As all of you already know, muscular strength of women is only 2/3 of those of men. So women feel heavier of the weight of the trunk doors. So if you look at the smart trunk feature, then you don't have to put any energy on it.
The trunk will detect the proximity key within 20 to 40 inches for 3 seconds before notifying you with blinking lights and a chime that the trunk is about to open.
Did you hear? Yeah. So the smart trunk feature, I think many automakers are applying this technology to their cars. And from now on, I will introduce a couple of recent technologies that applied to automobiles. So these technologies are for the safety. So it's very dangerous when drivers lose their concentration while driving. So there is many reasons for attention dispersion. For example, drowsiness, or making phone calls, or texting, and watching videos, and many reasons. And especially women's brain system is more suitable for multitasking. So women have a tendency to multitask while driving. So the female drivers need more assistance for attention dispersion. So I'd like to introduce the lane departure warning system and auto-emergency braking. So these two technologies will help you avoid potential collisions. Can you increase the volume, please?
With a lane departure warning system. It's not an alternative to a coffee break, but it helps you stay on course if you start losing concentration. A camera in the windscreen monitors the car's position in relation to the lane. If the seed leaves the position and crosses the road markings, a warning sounds, and a flashing symbol in the instrument cluster will alert you.
Automatic emergency braking helps drivers avoid a potential collision or reduce its impact. Genesis will employ automatic braking whenever it detects another vehicle at an unsafe closing rate of speed. At speeds above 50 miles per hour, AEB will apply partial braking and alert the driver of a potential collision.
Yep. So many automakers are applying this kind of technology for the user's safety to the cars. And another technology the automakers are developing is parking assistance. The parking is really a pain for everyone. So this is for, I think, both men and women. So drivers can view 360 degrees of the surroundings, so they don't crash anything, and will find parking a lot easier. And smart parking assist systems will provide you with a semi-automatic parking.
Utilizing multiple integrated cameras on all 4 sides of the K900. The available surround view monitor provides a constant near 360-degree view of your immediate surroundings, enhancing driver visibility when parking. Welcome to the advanced technology
And smart parking assistant.
Kia's Smart Park Assist system is one such system, making parallel parking effortless and comfortable. Press the button to activate the system and reduce your speed to 30 kilometers an hour or less. The parking system uses 10 sensors to measure the length of each available parking spot and identifies a suitable space for your car. To begin parallel parking, follow the system's instructions. Stop your car, engage reverse gear, and control the speed. Now the system automatically performs all the maneuvers to complete the parking. Parallel parking has become an easy and intuitive operation with Kia's smart technologies.
Yeah, these are pretty cool technology, and the Dr. Shane already showed some kind of autonomous driving technology in the robot session. So I think all the technologies are converged in many devices. So automobile car is one of the devices that the robot technologies are applied. And this is the last technology I'd like to introduce. The changing the lane while high-speed driving is the most difficult test for inexperienced drivers and even for experienced drivers. So this is a kind of assistant for the blind spot detection and lane changing.
The BSD system uses sensors in the rear bumpers to detect other cars in the blind spots. An indicator lights up at the corner of the side mirrors, and the head-up display when a car is close by at the rear. When you try to switch lanes, BSD warns the driver by blinking the icons and vibrating the steering wheels. The LCA uses the same function as BSD's, but it also detects cars approaching from further back at high speeds.
Yeah, so this is about my presentation. So I'd like to conclude that technology is evolving and heading more and more where users want it to go. So we need to continue to study deep into the human and user needs and make the products useful and beneficial for users, which means both men and women. So thank you for listening.